Welcome to another Explainer. Today we're unpacking one of humanity's absolute oldest, most fascinating inventions. Yep, we are talking about the bow and arrow. We're going to explore the raw mechanics and the physics behind this incredible tool, tracing its journey from, the primitive sticks used by our ancient ancestors, all the way to the absolute marvels of modern engineering we have today. I promise you, by the end of this Explainer, you're going to look at a simple piece of curved wood and string in a completely different light.
Okay, let's dive into this by shattering a pretty massive misconception right out of the gate. If you've ever played a video game that features archery, you've probably hit that upgrade menu where you buy a quote-unquote stronger string to shoot your arrows faster and farther. Well, here's the truth. The energy that actually shoots an arrow, it doesn't come from the string at all. No way. The energy comes entirely from the wood or the fiberglass of the bow's limbs. The string is literally just the messenger.
To get to the bottom of how this actually works, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the archery energy illusion, then hit the 5 wonders of bow science. After that, we'll go from ancient sticks to recurves, break down the physics of the shot, look at the compound bow revolution, and finally wrap up with real-world uses and risks. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The archery energy illusion. Let's shatter that slingshot myth.
So the reason so many people misunderstand bows is simply because they confuse them with slingshots. Think about a slingshot for a second. You've got a rigid, completely static frame, right? When you pull back, the elastic band stretches, and it's that band that stores all the energy. But a bow works in the exact opposite way. A bowstring doesn't stretch at all, it's static. Instead, when you pull that string back, the arms or the limbs of the bow physically bend inward. A bow is basically a giant spring. The limbs are the parts moving, and they are the things holding all that raw pent-up power.
Moving on to Section 2, the 5 wonders of bow science, the core principles.
All right, here are the 5 spectacular scientific principles that make all of this possible. First, a bow is essentially a mechanical battery. It's an energy converter that takes the chemical energy from your muscles and turns it into kinetic energy. Second is Hooke's law, which dictates exactly how the bow bends. Third is mechanical advantage, where we basically use pulleys and levers to cheat physics. Fourth is the let-off effect, giving modern archers a huge edge. And fifth, the archer's paradox, which is just an absolutely mind-bending aerodynamic phenomenon. We're going to touch on all of these as we go.
Section 3. From ancient sticks to recurves, the evolution of archery. The sheer timeline of this technology is just staggering. Humanity's been using this tool for a remarkably long time. We've actually found bone arrowheads in a cave in South Africa that date back roughly 61,000 years. Back then, it was quite literally a stick and some natural fiber or maybe animal sinew. Fast forward to the Middle Ages and you see these massive English longbows, literally as tall as a person, and mechanical crossbows totally dominating the battlefield, packing enough punch to pierce armor. Then we take a massive leap all the way to 1966 when a guy named Hollis Wilbur Allen invented the modern compound bow, which fundamentally changed the rules of archery forever.
And, human ingenuity didn't just stop at a straight stick. Long before we had modern machinery, archers figured out that if you pre-curve the ends of the bow away from the archer, creating what we call a recurve bow, you completely change the mechanics. Those curved tips actually act as levers. It forces the bow to store way more energy early in the draw and then snap forward much faster upon release than a standard straight longbow. It's wild that just changing the unstrung shape radically alters its efficiency and power.
Section 4. The physics of the shot. Mechanics for all ages.
Let's move to and see how this builds from the exact moment you touch the string. Step 1 is the draw. Your muscular effort pulls the string. But remember, the string pulls the limbs. You are physically deforming the material, packing it full of elastic potential energy. Step 2 is the hold. You're maintaining peak tension here. All of your muscular chemical energy is now locked inside that bent wood. And step 3 is the release. The very millisecond you let go, rapid decompression kicks in. The limbs instantly want to snap back to their straight position, transforming all that stored potential energy into kinetic energy and blasting the arrow forward.
If you want to visualize exactly how this works at home, try this really simple experiment. Grab a flexible plastic ruler and bend it by pulling the 2 ends toward you with a piece of string. The side of the ruler facing you, which is called the belly of the bow, is being compressed. It's getting squished together. But the outer side of the ruler, the back of the bow, is under extreme tension. It's being stretched out. This perfectly proves that the material of the limbs is doing all the heavy lifting, expertly balancing compression and tension to store your energy.
The physical rule governing all this bending is called Hooke's law. It states that the force required to bend an elastic object increases proportionally with the distance you structure bend it. So this is exactly why, if you pick up a traditional longbow, pulling it back the first few inches feels relatively easy. But as you pull it further and further back toward your cheek, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. You basically have to fight Hooke's law the entire way back.
Now, what's really fascinating is what happens the exact millisecond the arrow leaves the bow. It's a spectacular phenomenon known as the archer's paradox. When all that massive kinetic energy slams into the back of the arrow doesn't stay perfectly straight. It literally, and I mean physically, buckles and bends around the handle of the bow. It fishtails through the air, wobbling side to side. It only stabilizes mid-flight because the fletching, those little feathers at the back, act almost like a parachute. They spin the arrow, correcting its flight path and making sure it hits the target straight on. It's amazing to watch.
Section 5. The Compound Bow Revolution. Engineering meets archery.
So, there is a stark contrast between old and new tech here. Like we just talked about, a traditional bow's draw force increases linearly. Because of Hooke's law, it is physically the hardest to hold when you're at full draw, right when you're trying to aim. Well, a compound bow completely shatters this rule. When you draw a compound bow, the force peaks very early in the cycle, and then, right as you get to full draw, the weight drastically drops off. You end up holding just a fraction of the bow's actual power.
So, the crucial point is this number, an 80% let-off. Let me put that into perspective. That means if an archer is using a compound bow with a peak weight of 70 pounds of force, which is plenty to take down a large animal, by the time they pull the string all the way back to aim, they are only holding about 14 pounds of weight. They can hold that string back steadily for a really long time with minimal effort, which naturally results in incredible precision.
How is this absolute magic possible? Well, it all comes down to those strange, oval-shaped wheels at the top and bottom of the bow. They're called cams. These cams are basically a complex pulley system that creates a varying mechanical advantage. It's really vital to note here that a compound bow isn't necessarily more powerful just because it has pulleys. The pulleys actually just let the archer stretch incredibly short, ridiculously stiff fiberglass or carbon fiber limbs over a standard draw length. It's just brilliant how modern materials provide this massive efficiency. The cams just make it physically possible for a human being to actually pull them back and hold them.
Section 6. Real-world use and risks. Gravity, trajectory, and safety.
Once an arrow leaves the bow, it's out in the real world, which means it is immediately subjected to gravity. Because of this, arrows do not fly in a perfectly straight laser beam. They follow a curved, parabolic trajectory. They start dropping the second they leave the string. To compensate for this, modern archers use adjustable sight pins. A heavier, more powerful bow shoots a faster arrow, which gives gravity less time to pull it down, resulting in a flatter trajectory. A lighter bow shoots a slower arrow, so the archer actually has to aim much higher, launching the arrow at a steeper upward angle just to hit the exact same target.
Now, wielding this kind of mechanical energy comes with some serious physical risks to the equipment itself. First off, people often string traditional recurve bows backward because the unstrung shape looks kind of counterintuitive. If you pull it the wrong way, the wood will instantly snap. Second, if you're using primitive, natural sticks and you draw them past their material limits, they will shatter. And third, and this is the most important one, releasing a drawn string without an arrow. That's called a dry fire. Without an arrow there to absorb that massive kinetic energy, all of that force slams right back into the bow's limbs, which often causes the entire bow to literally explode right in your hands.
Which brings us to a very necessary safety disclaimer. As we've learned today, archery equipment stores immense kinetic energy. It is a highly powerful mechanical tool. You should always handle bows under proper supervision, never point them at anything you don't fully intend to shoot, and absolutely never misuse or dry fire the equipment. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes to help you understand the fascinating physics behind the sport.
We've journeyed from 61,000-year-old ancient sticks all the way to the absolute pinnacle of modern cam systems. It leaves us with a really fascinating split in the world of archery today. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Do you prefer the raw, instinctual, historical challenge of mastering a traditional wooden bow, fighting Hooke's law with pure human skill? Or are you drawn to the high-tech precision engineering and mechanical advantage of the modern compound bow? It's just a beautiful intersection of biology, physics, and engineering. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.